Thank you, Acting Speaker. I'm enormously proud to contribute to this debate and this piece of legislation, the Victorian Collaborative Centre for Mental Health and Wellbeing Bill 2021. And it's an exciting day to be making real and meaningful change for Victoria's mental health system, a system that for too long has been broken and has let people down. We often debate matters in this place that perhaps are a bit administrative or abstract to the everyday lives of people, but this piece of legislation delivers something transformative, something that will save lives. And it's also very special that we're creating a new piece of establishing legislation for this very important reform. In November 2019, the interim report of the Royal Commission into Mental Health was released. And the very first recommendation of that report was the creation of the Victorian Collaborative Centre for Mental Health and Wellbeing to bring together expertise in lived experience research and clinical and non-clinical care, disseminating the practice of evidence-informed treatment, care and support across the state. As the Minister noted in his second reading speech, when the Royal Commission into Victoria's mental health system tabled its interim report, it described a vision for a reformed mental health system. In the new redesigned system, people living with mental illness or psychological distress, their families and carers will be at the forefront. They'll be listened to and valued as active contributors and leaders. They will have access to comprehensive treatment, care and support delivered by a skilled and diverse workforce. This establishing legislation will create a centre where lived experience expertise will be front and centre of the treatment. I'd like to focus on the importance of lived experience work as we rebuild the mental health system from the ground up. As the member for Frankston noted, the board of this centre will have 4 people with lived experience both as consumers within the system and those who support loved ones. And they'll be embedded in and at the heart of this centre and at the centre of our reforms of the mental health system more broadly. For people experiencing mental health issues, the support work of people who've been through it before is an invaluable aspect of best practice care. My friend Jo is one of those lived experience workers and supports patients as part of the highly regarded team at Royal Melbourne Hospital. I asked Jo this morning if he was happy for me to relay his experience today, and of course he generously said yes. He said his mum would be proud, but I wanted to say from the outset that I am also proud of you, Jo. Your friends and your family are proud. Jo didn't always work in mental health. When I first met him about a decade ago, Jo ran his own business working in the film industry. Around 5 years ago, Jo experienced a breakdown. Jo lives with bipolar and has been hospitalised twice. Both times he was placed into seclusion, which he described to me as being very traumatic. He had an alcohol addiction and we lost him there for a little while. Jo managed to beat his addiction. He's enormously strong and intelligent, and with the right treatment for bipolar and addiction, he recovered and came back to us sober and well. It's a testament to his character that he wanted to use his insights of treatment and experience of being unwell to support others. In January last year, Jo answered a job ad to become a lived experience peer support worker at the Royal Melbourne Hospital, part of the multidisciplinary team within the psychiatric unit. Jo uses his understanding and empathy to listen to and support others, not to tell them that what they're experiencing isn't real. He described to me peer work as being all about making genuine connections. Being truly understood by another human can be incredibly therapeutic. Peer workers are there for people at what is often the most difficult time in their life, not to diagnose or try to fix them, but just to meet them wherever they are and genuinely connect. I think it takes a very strong person to take the worst moments of their life and use it to help others in their day-to-day work. Last week, Jo told me on one of our very long and rambling walks around Footscray during lockdown that he had just applied to study a Masters in Addictive Behaviour at Monash University. What an asset to our health system my friend Joe is. We're all proud of him, but he should be absolutely proud of himself. So today we start the important work of creating a collaborative centre for mental health and wellbeing, where lived experience will inform all aspects of its work and design. It'll be the foundation stone of a reform system, a system that's properly funded. In May this year, the Andrews Labor government provided the single largest investment into mental health in Australian history, $3.8 billion to build a new mental health system from the ground up. Throughout this debate, I've listened carefully to those opposite complain about the mental health system but refuse to commit to all of the recommendations of the mental health system. They've complained about funding but refused to support a dedicated funding stream. There's no credibility for them on this issue as we embark on the largest social reform in Victorian history. They could join us, but they choose not to. This bill establishes the Collaborative Centre as a new entity, an independent body corporate that will connect lived experience leadership, innovative service delivery, and cutting-edge mental health research to form part of the basis of a transformed system. The centre will be based in Melbourne. It'll be a statutory authority. It will deliver better mental health outcomes for all Victorians with world-leading research, workforce development, and of course, best practice treatment. It will also host a statewide trauma centre. This bill sets out the guiding principles of the centre, the functions of the centre, and stipulates governance arrangements that embed collaboration and lived experience leadership within the board at executive levels. There are 8 functions of the Collaborative Centre as described in this bill. First, to provide, promote and coordinate the provision of mental health and wellbeing services. Secondly, the establishment of the statewide trauma service will improve mental health and wellbeing outcomes for people of all ages with lived experience of trauma. It will deliver best practice guidance for practitioners across the state and be a leader in research. It will connect up pathways between mental health services to ensure people receive the best coordinated care. It will also deliver professional development for service providers and workers, and it will implement research strategies that address priority needs in Victoria's mental health system. Finally, it will report to the Minister and Secretary on its functions. This is real action and meaningful change, and I think this is why all of us are here. As a state, we've made real progress in mental health, not just with treatment, but the way we speak about mental health. So today, in commending this bill to the House, I would like to thank my friend Joe and all of his colleagues throughout the mental health system who work tirelessly always, but particularly during this pandemic, day to day in full PPE in work where human connection is so vitally important. I'd like to thank their brilliant union, HACSU, the organisers and the leadership at HACSU who strive for change and innovation always in this system and for their members. It's been such a difficult 2 years, but these workers provide extraordinary care in such challenging circumstances because they choose to commit their working lives to helping others. I commend this bill to the House.